Hi everyone, welcome to Wine Wednesdays. This is a new series I wanted to start, just kind of about wine. So myself, I've actually been a wine collective member for a while now, and I really enjoy their wines. I really don't know too much about it, so I really wanted to start something and share my thoughts on wine as an amateur mid-20s wine drinker. I'm sure I'm in the same boat as a lot of people where you kind of know a little bit about the wine, and I'm exactly at that. I know I just want to grow what I know, try different wines, and maybe you can find some wines that you like. I can find some different wines as well with different recommendations. So I kind of just want to put something out there that was relatable as a very inexperienced wine drinker. But I've been drinking a lot of wine in the past year, and I've really enjoyed what I have had. So I kind of wanted to put it out there and try different content out and see if people enjoy it as much as I do. So first off, I did want to explain the wine membership that I have. So I'm a part of Wine Collective. I don't get all my wines through there, but for a while it was pretty much most of the wine that I did have. It's really great wine subscription because it's all over the world. So even though I myself live in Niagara, it's really easy for me to get wine. I did originally want to be a part of a specific wine subscription here, but it didn't really make sense because I can just drive there and buy the wine. So I joined Wine Collective. So it sends me wine from all over the world. It's actually based out of Calgary. So if you do live in Calgary or the surrounding area, you can go in and pick it up. But myself, I do the 4 wines a month. I do 2 reds and 2 whites. At the beginning, I wasn't really too into reds and I really wanted to get into it. And it wasn't until November this past year, 2019, that I started drinking reds and actually really fell in love with it and kind of forgot about whites for a long time. So Wine Collective really helped me try a lot of different things that I wouldn't have known to, because it's really hard to just go to the LCBO or the wine shop or wherever and just be like, oh yeah, totally, all these wines. Whereas this way, you know what, I don't get a pick, which is kind of nice because I get to try it without the judgment of beforehand. So I'm really not judging like a book or a wine bottle by its cover. I really just kind of get to do it and enjoy it, or hopefully enjoy it. So I've really liked Wine Collective, and so I pay about $100 a month for 4 bottles. But the nice thing is you can pause it at any time. So I've actually had to pause the past couple months just because I haven't had the extra $100 to spend on wine, since I've been buying like more beers and summery drinks that I prefer myself. And I still have a whole bunch of white wine that I wasn't drinking through the winter that I can now have now that it's summer. So I have that pause right now, but really hurts me because I love having a full wine rack, and right now I definitely do not. So with Wine Collective, also with your shipment, you get this little kind of brochure with every shipment, and it has all your wines and little QR codes. So it's nice. You just scan the one that you want and brings up all the tasting notes and everything with it too. So it's really good because you get to learn about your wine as well. And some of it you can find in the LCBO, some you can't. So the wine that we're actually going to have today is Opal Ridge. It is this Semillon Chardonnay. I haven't tried this one. It is a wine of Australia. Now, I did do a little bit of research, and you cannot get it in the LCBO. And it was actually made for a different company, which doesn't have it to buy. But you can actually buy the wines from Wine Collective that you get monthly off of Wine Collective again. So it actually still is for sale on Wine Collective for members like myself. So I could go buy it. I think it's about $18. I have it here. So the member price is $18.49, where the retail is $22.99 Canadian. So Opal Ridge, yeah, based out of Australia. Let's give it a go. Got my wine glass here. Now I only have stem and stemless. I don't have specific red or white wine glasses, and that is strictly because 1, I love these actually, and 2, I can't have nice things because I break them. So this is what we have here. This is the Opal Ridge. It smells a little sweet to me, not too sweet though. Definitely has like kind of like a guava-y, like you can kind of tell it has a little bit of a thicker taste to it probably by the smell. Also, I don't really know, right? I'm just kind of blowing it out my butt. But the color, it's a little it's a lighter yellow, but not too pale. It is 11.5% alcohol. On the bottle itself, it is a delicate blend of herbaceous, Semillon, and exotic tropical Chardonnay fruit characters. Subtle oak complexity, which is well balanced with a crisp, fresh, fruity finish. Best served with chicken dishes, pasta, and barbecues, which sounds really delicious. Okay, so with this as well, I can tell you the different breakups. So this is actually 65% Semillon and 35% Chardonnay. And on a scale of 1 to 7, it is a 2 on the sweet scale. So not too sweet, but not super dry, which is really nice. Okay. So on the website itself with the tasting notes, it says pale yellow, clear and light, colorless and reflections. I could definitely see that for sure. Is some yellow in it too. So this is a 2017 as well. And it does say to have it by 2021. Not all wines are good to age. Some are actually better to be drunk closer to the time that it gets bottled. I personally have no idea which is why, but I just kind of drink it. I don't save too many wines just because I bought it. So I'm going to drink it. So the smell, honestly, I'm not really picking too much out of it myself. There, you can definitely tell that it is sweet, but on the website it says intriguing, but seductive, ripe green fruits, pear, apple orchards. You got honey, white peaches, so that gives the sweetness. It is subtle and airy, so it definitely is subtle. It's not strong. I'm not really picking much up, and everything that they kind of talked about is more light, like peaches, honey. So for me, I can't really pick that up too well just because I don't have a nose for it yet. I'm hoping that will develop myself though. Okay, so we're going to do 2 tastes. First, we're going to do one without aerating the wine. Oh, interesting. Now we're going to aerate it. For those who don't know, it's just a good way to get air in the wine, which actually does change the taste of it. Most wine glasses are made to do this, so you can kind of do it pretty aggressively, and chances are it won't come out of your wine glass. It definitely brought the peach smell out for myself too. It didn't change the taste too much for myself though. I don't really even know how to describe the taste. It's definitely light. I don't taste much of the fruitiness to it. I would say more of the honey flavor, I guess. I'm not picking up anything really. I wouldn't say it's my favorite wine, but it's actually not bad. So on the website, taste in orchid fruits, touch of citrus, green and golden apples, apricot, tangerine, key lime, white grapefruit. Yeah, the Chardonnay is the backbone, and it's pretty neutral, medium weight body, and the majority of fruit flavors, the waxy acidity and slick texture is complements of this Semillon, and it's a great melody. So it is pretty good. I'm gonna have another sip here. Yeah, definitely not sweet. There is a taste to it that just, I can't describe it. I haven't tasted it in wine before. It kind of hits me right in the middle of my tongue. And it's not bitter, but it's not sweet. And it kind of just sits there. So on the Wine Collective website, it actually tells some pairings that would be good for it as well. So the pairings that it says is more of like a curry, Indian, sweet potatoes, chickpea, chicken, pork. So I didn't have any of that, but on the bottle it say it would pair well with a pasta. I know when I actually went to Niagara College, we did do a wine tasting and a beer tasting with pairings, and it really can bring the different flavors and really can play with the taste in the wine and the food as well. I know I have a really hard time actually like drinking a lot of alcoholic beverages with meals just because I find they don't complement each other, and I really enjoy like the alcohol on itself and the meal by itself, but sometimes when I mix it, it doesn't work. But that's just because those foods and drinks aren't supposed to pair together. So I have some nice pasta here, just super plain, add a little parm to it. So I'm just gonna see how well it pairs with the wine. Yeah, I would definitely drink that with that. I mean, it is Italian wine, even though this is an Australian wine. People think of wine in Italian, so pasta, it kind of does all work together. I want to think if there's anything else you want to know about this wine. So the hard thing is because it isn't at the LCBO, you do have to kind of play off of different wines, which I actually really like. So even though wine can be so different, because I live in Niagara, right? I could come here, I could get 4 different bottles of Chardonnay from 4 different wineries, and they could taste very different, but still kind of play off of the same notes in a sense because the region's the same. Whereas I go to Australia and I buy 4 different Chardonnays, those ones, yeah, they'll be different, but they'll be very different from the Niagara ones themselves. And sometimes even the same grapes have different names depending on what region you're into. So we could call it X here and then Y there, but it's the same grape, but just grown in different places. So it makes it seem a little bit different. For me, if I really liked this wine, I would honestly go to the LCBO or the wine shop or wherever, and look at just Semillon Chardonnays from Australia. See what they have and kind of start searching from there. This is the wine that I really liked. But also years can play a really big play in wine as well. So I had a favorite vintage of a wine. It was Pillitteri. It was the Riesling. I forget what year it was I liked. I want to say it was 2016. And I actually had bought the last bottle that they sold of the 2016. And then I bought the 2017. And it just didn't taste the same. It wasn't as good. But the grapes change every year, right? So it's always good to look at the different vintages as well, because it could literally change the whole palette of the wine, from what you love to something that you might not love as much, and just change it too. So this is a journey I kind of want to go on with everybody. Try different wines, just kind of see it from a super amateur perspective, right? For me, a lot of the time it's just like either you like a wine or you don't. And I'm sure like a lot of people, their palates change and what they like changes too. I know for myself, I started with the late autumn Riesling out of the wine shop, and that was the first one I really liked, and I drank it for I think about 2 years in university. And it was also right around the street, so super easy to get to, but it was pretty sweet, but a lot of people like sweet. So even for beer, I started with Coors Light, and now when someone gives me a Coors Light, I'm like, why? It's water. I prefer the more flavorful beers now that I can like play with and enjoy it and have like more of an experience with than just to drink it. And so my palate has changed. And so now I've developed different likes for different wines, even like month to month. Sometimes the type of wine I like changes too. It really just depends on kind of just what I'm drinking or what I'm eating, what I'm doing. What I like definitely changes. I've come across a few wines that I really wouldn't drink. Most are pretty good. Some are like all right, obviously. But I do want to share this experience with you guys. Let me know if you're a part of any wine subscriptions as well. Again, I really like Wine Collective. If you want to know anything else about it, please message me. I really like it. You can also customize. You can get 2 bottles, 4 bottles, 6 bottles. You could do all reds, all whites, really just what you want. When I was doing it, again, I only liked white wine, but I wanted to get into red wine, because I knew I would just like it if I just did it. And so I got into it, and it was really good for me. And I prefer red wine now, surprisingly, which is weird to me. But I think wine can be a really good experience, and it can be so fun, and there's a lot to it and a lot more depth to it than a lot of people do. And like, again, by no means am I any sort of expert. Hell, I looked at this and was like, yeah, it's got color and has a smell, but I want to grow, and I want to grow with you guys and suggest some good wines. Obviously, not all of them are easily accessible for everybody, but maybe you'll try something new, something different. Yeah, if you have any suggestions about what I should add, I want to do this hopefully every Wednesday. Wine Wednesdays, wine not Wednesdays, and see you guys next week.